What is up, everybody, NC?
JC and
We're back with the Spiritual Talk. It's been like 6 months, it feels like. It feels like forever since we talked about the spiritual side of things. Heck, even since we've been on Question Everything Anon.
yeah, it's been yeah.
We need to give some content to the channel because there's been wild claims that have said that we're Illuminati sellouts because we're not doing Question Everything Anon videos anymore. Not because wrestling is talked about right now.
Yeah.
Not for the right reasons, but it's talked about.
Illuminati sellout. Oh god, dude, motherfucker, we exposed them. Are you kidding me?
And we turned them down twice.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, and if anything, if we were Illuminati sellouts, wouldn't we have like fucking 50K subscribers?
Right.
You know? It's just, ugh. Anyways.
They don't think.
Anyways, to the topic at hand. What we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the power of prayer and how it has changed our lives, our testimonials, and how it can change your life. So, let me preface and say that everything that has ever came into my life that I deem good is because I had the intent when I put it out in a prayer.
Yep, same here.
That I wanted it to be a part of my life. Every single thing that I've ever really truly intended on putting into this material reality, I have focused on it. And that's what, honestly, I hate to say it. Most people won't say prayer is magic. Prayer is magic.
It's divine magic.
It's divine magic. Because what you're doing is you're putting positive intent out there. And you're putting focus and energy towards it. You're putting visualization towards it. And when you do that type of thing, what happens is you start to materialize that. Because what you have to understand, and at the end of the day, we're all just a bunch of holograms. We're all a bunch of holograms in this holographic universe. And we're going to truly make something real in our lives. We have to put that energy out there. So we have to pray every day. You know, you have to be true to God. You have to be true to the Lord. And the hardest things I have in this third dimension is truly living that monk lifestyle. You know, especially when you have to deal with people in the real world. Yeah, it's hard to be that monk. It's hard to be that, you know, that perfect prayer person. You know, none of them exist.
Right, and I want to also add in just the importance of fasting and prayer. Just the power that fasting while praying, or praying while fasting has. That for whatever reason I've noticed that whenever my prayers really come true, it's when I'm fasting.
Right. Well, and fasting is a part of doing that, but consistency is the biggest thing.
Yep.
You have to be consistent, and you have to realize that there's stuff that's going to hold you back. You know, like alcohol, for example, is going to hold you back because what it actively does, and the mainstream media doesn't want this getting out, but what it actively does is every time you drink spirits, there's a reason they're called that, it actively lowers your vibration, which makes it easier for demons to communicate with you and to interact with you. So guys, just stay away from liquor. There's a reason why it's the number one killer out of all drugs out there. But you know what? It's more than anything, it's just about living a clean lifestyle. And like my brother said, fasting. And that's part of cleaning out the system. Getting all that shit, all that junk out of you. And you have to do mental fasting sometimes too. You have to really purge out all these dark thoughts. You know, Bruce Lee had a phrase one time where he was saying something like, if the way you think is the reality you form. And that's exactly what it is. If you constantly think negative, that's what you're going to form. Is you're going to form a negative reality for yourself, unwillingly, mind you. But if you constantly focus on that, that's what you're going to put into this reality. If you constantly focus on having positive vibes and having, you know, good family, good life, you know, and goodness coming to you, then that's what will come to you. And trust me, it's hard too when you're constantly bombarded by mainstream media, which is trying to brainwash you, which is trying to lead you towards that negative path. That's the whole reason why the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers bought out mainstream media in the early 1900s. They wanted to control the narrative. They wanted to make sure that at least the United States is under the Luciferian world order way before they knew about it and way before they're about to know about it. It's a very hellacious path that we're going down, and that's why I encourage more than ever prayer. And that's how I start out my morning. Every single morning I start out with prayer. And I try to read at least a page or two of the Bible, just something where I can gain some perspective on what happened in the past and how I can relate it to what's going on nowadays. And that's another thing too with prayers. Whenever you pray and you put focus and intent towards something, the main thing that you should focus on is that it's happening right now, because you have to understand that the universe time is an illusion. Past, present, future, it's all an illusion.
So true.
If you really realize that time is all happening at once, then it makes praying in the present a more competent thought process. It makes you understand where that comes from. And that's really how you bring things into existence, how you bring goodness into existence, is through positive present prayer. And I really hope that everyone in our community, at least does some sort of prayer. I don't care if you can pray to Muhammad, you can pray to Buddha, you can pray to whoever you want. I prefer Jesus Christ, but you are free to pray to whoever you want in our community. We do not chastise you for that. We will not judge you for that. Just as long as you're trying to connect to a higher power.
That's good.
That's good, exactly. That's ultimately what we want out of you at the end of the day. But yeah, the power of prayer is powerful. It is truly something, and that's something too, where when you're constantly praying, you let God know, hey, I'm one of your guys, and He'll watch over you. Especially if you put it out there, Lord, thank you for your protection. He will protect you.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I always try to do, like if I'm dealing with a problem that's just too big for me to handle or too stressful, I always say in my prayers, I'm like, God, please take this off my hands. It's too much for me. And I've noticed that after a while, God does take it off my hands and deals with it. And comes up with the perfect solution that I couldn't even think of.
Because you're putting the focus and intent towards that. You're putting the energy towards that. And because you're putting importance on it, God knows that it's important to you, and He processes it for you.
And you're trusting God too.
And you have to trust Him. Exactly. Yes, that's a big part of prayers. You have to completely put it out there. And that's why, as I get older, I don't fear like I used to, because I realize God is there to prevent that. He will always be there. He will always help me. In the most dire of straits, He will always be there for me. Mm-hmm. And you have to truly trust in that the Lord is tangible and real. And like for me, what really helped me is I've had a couple near-death experiences, so I realize I'm here for a reason. And it's when you go through shit like that, you're like, okay, well, I have a mission here on this earth, and I got to fulfill it. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to. Take it to the comments. Aloe was saying, atheists keep claiming Jesus is useless, yet they pray to the other guy. They have too many demons themselves, and the Blackcraft religion is a construct spun off of Christianity. Ironic. Well, and that's what atheists are, basically, is they're undercover Satanists. They don't want to admit which side they serve, because it's a lot more trendy, cool, and acceptable to be called an atheist than it is a Satanist.
And for some of them, I think a lot of them just they use it to sound they'll say like, I'm an atheist, to sound edgy, or they'll be an atheist, but they'll say sometimes that they're a Satanist to sound edgy, to sound like, oh, like it's taboo. I'm being real taboo.
I'm dark.
But they really don't know what forces they're messing with.
Right, and a lot of them don't, especially when they start playing with Ouija boards. That's why we've always advocated don't ever play with the Ouija board, because a lot of times you're inviting in very negative spirits.
Well, you're not relying on God for that.
No.
You're relying on some other spirit that is not Jesus, that is not God, or any other entity of good. You're usually relying upon spirits that are in the room or around you to guide that Ouija board, or to guide a tarot card reading, or to guide anything else like that. Which is why I personally want to stay away from that, because you're not going to get an honest reading of it.
You're not. Well, because, and that's another thing, too, is the more you pray, the closer you get to the source, the true source, and that's the true source of the universe, and that's something that I advocate everybody, get closer to God. If you really want to know what this reality is about, God will give you the answers. You don't have to doubt in that. He will reveal the secrets of the universe to you if you request it. And Billy Bob was wondering, what if you pray to Cody Rhodes or Finn Balor or Johnny Gargano? Well, then you're creating blasphemy, and you are actively accruing negative karma, and I would not wish that upon anybody.
No.
Aloe was saying, I pray to Johnny Gargano, Carmelo Hayes, Finn Balor, and CM Punk because they fulfill my need for nut cookies. I feel bad for you, man. Yeah. We're very serious here on Question Everything Spiritual Talk.
We're not joking.
We don't joke around. We don't do impressions. We're here to talk about God and be serious. So All right, guys, join us over on the main channel at 4:30 for our live question of the year. What is a mark? so many different answers, so many different facets to go down, and we're going to break it down. NC,
JCN.
peace out.